Hello, this is Brian from Neware. Today I'm going to introduce you a little bit about Neware BTS software. When you have finished installing BTS software, you'll get these three icons. The first one is the BTS client software, and the rest two are just two tools extracted from the BTS client. The BTS DA is the BTS data analyzer in which you can check and export the data you get. And the build test is just a test builder in which you can create new testing flows or save the testing flows you just created, as they are internal links in BTS client to these two tools. So basically, you can just use this one. Thank you very much. So today let's take a look at the BTS client. So first of all, let's open the software. So here's what you got when you enter the software. Let's take a look from the very top to bottom. From the very top, you can see the name of the software is BTS client, and you can see the version number here, and you can obviously upgrade your system to the latest version as we will constantly adding some new functions into the software. And below you can see a menu line. You can change language here, and you got some setting, and you can see them, they are in gray and we cannot choose, and it reminds us to log in. So let's first of all find the user login. The username is admin and password is newware. You can choose to remember the last login password. Click OK. So now we can see all these settings. So there are many type of settings here, but the most frequently used systems is the system settings. Let's take a deeper look at this one. So if your project needs some of the barcode function, you can change some of the parameters here and change some of the data downloading parameters here, and you can set some of the must set settings. This is to avoid some important parameters to be missed out. And you can change some of the most frequently used uh, step settings that you need. For example, if you need delta voltage when you set up the test recipes, you can move it from right to left to enable this function. And you got display settings, and by display settings we've got all this, and the most important one is the right click menu function. Uh, you can add some of the most uh, usable functions by you. I mean, the most frequently used functions, you can add it to the right click function area. In this way, you can quickly find the function and enter that function. This will save you a lot of time. And you also got upgrade settings here. So I strongly recommend you read all these settings behind the system settings, because if there are some functions that you don't know our software has, but actually it can save some of your time, and that will be a loss. And you will also got some of the very detailed settings as well, but these are very seldomly used. For example, the protection parameter settings. It's for very detailed control parameters. For example, for constant current charge, you can see many of these detailed set of the CC charge step. If you do have this demand, you can set and save, and you can choose to apply to all devices. But if you do not have this very detailed demand of control, you can just ignore and don't set anything. And these two same stories, do not set. But don't worry, we will have some very most frequently used protection settings when we get to uh, the part of creating test recipes. So don't worry. And we got some tools, download log, link to the test builder, link to the BTS data analyzer, which we talked earlier. And yeah, these functions. And by calibration, it can only be available when the equipment that you're currently using are connected to the calibrator. And I got a helpline here. So this is basically about the menu line. And below you can see the channels. And you can change the status color uh, based on your demand. We just can left click and change the color. If you don't like the color, you can also right click to undo. So this is channels, and you got the IP address of the server, and you got the first device, and so these channels are under device 1. You can also set some of these parameters of the device 1, but usually we do not need to change. And from the very right part, you can also find some display settings. We can change to show small icon. We can change to show in list, and we also got uh, functions like grading. So there are many principles or parameters we can choose to differentiate the batteries that we are testing. For example, let's take the discharge capacity as one standard to differentiate the batteries that we are testing. We can add some range, right click, add sorting interval. For example, we choose the discharge capacity as the standard to differentiate the batteries that we are testing. For example, the minimum we set 2 and the maximum we set 6. And if we got 3 intervals, yes, click OK. So it will automatically create 3 ranges for us to differentiate the batteries that we are testing. And we click grading. If there are real batteries under the test, they will show you which one is A, which one is B. And if you got a light, if you got LED light of the cyclers, you can also choose to light the channel, and you will clearly know where to collect the batteries. So this is a very important function that you can use. So let's get back. And from the very bottom, we can also see the history data. So here we are at the present status. We can also retrieve history data by sorting device ID, unit ID, and we can find the data that we need. Let's get back. And from the right part, and we got some notification area to tell you which channel has something when there's problems, and you got status of fan, and you got automatic status and record, and you got some of the download record. If you got a buzzer alarm in your cycler, and you can set some of the buzzer alarm parameters. You can change these options. And here's some settings that you can choose to set. For example, when you conduct a battery testing, which info you want it to show. For example, at here, let's take a look. Let's just do a random testing, a random demo testing. So here is some of the info that you can change to show or not show during the charge and discharge. Yeah, so that's it. And here you can also change the size of the icon and font size. So yeah, so this is about some of the introduction of our interface. Thank you very much. Okay, so today let's take a look how should we create a new test recipe using BTS 8.0. So first of all, let's open the software and choose the channel that we need to create a new test recipe. For example, let's choose channel 6 and right click, single start, and you will see there are some preset test recipes already. So if they aren't what you need, you can create a new one by click here, new. So here is how it works. You can click here and it will show you a list. You can choose among these functions. So today let's take example of a 3000 milliamp pouch to tell you how to create a new test recipe. So first of all, let's put some remarks here. 3000 milliamp hour pouch. Yeah. So first of all, we want to rest the battery for 5 minutes, get it stable, and after that we need to discharge the battery by constant current. So we choose CC discharge, and we need to set the current. But here we cannot click because we got this checked. So we uncheck the C read mode. So we can set the current. Let's discharge the battery using 3000 milliamp of current, and the cutoff voltage we can set 2.75, and after it discharged we want to rest the battery for 10 minutes. and then we charge the battery. And this time we use constant current and constant voltage charge. So we need to set voltage to 4.2 and current, let's set 1500, and cutoff current, let's set 30 milliamp. And after it charged, we want to rest them again for 10 minutes. Then we again discharge, constant current discharge, same as step 2. And then we have them cycled. So we choose a cycle step here. And stop ID, let's start from step 3. And we cycle them for 500 cycles. And we got rest for 5 minutes. 5 minutes. And we end. So this is the basic values that we will set, and we will also need to set some racket settings or some protection settings. We can click, we can set here, or we can click this area, and they will show us all the parameters that we can set. For example, we set some protection settings. Click and choose from this menu. For example, for time record condition, we can set like 10 seconds to record one data, and voltage lower limit, let's set voltage lower limit, let's set 2.7, and voltage upper limit we can set, yeah, upper limit, let's set 4.25, and we also can set up a capacity upper limit as its power cell. Capacity up limit, let's set it 33,000, no, 3,300. And if you connect the thermocouple, which is our auxiliary channels, to the surface of the pouch, and you can detect the temperature of the surface, so you can also set the temperature as a protection parameters here. For example, let's set auxiliary channel temperature upper limit, for example, let's take 65 degrees C. Yeah, and we can apply to all we can apply to all steps. You can choose depends on your demand. And okay, so we got all this set it, and we make sure the automatic backup is opened, and startup ID is 1. Yeah, you can put some remarks here. Yeah, so we can start now. and because it's a new test recipe, so it reminds us to save it for future use as well. Let's set it like pouch cell 3000 milliamp cycle test save. So it's testing now. So that's it. Then let's take a look how should we check some of the data of a specific channel and export the data we want. Let's open the software. For example, there are two channels are under testing. So if we want to check the channel status, we can find here channel information to check the step names, step configurations we got for this channel. And we can also view the data in detail. It will automatically link to our data analyzer, and it shows us the curve here. And here we've got a few functions that you can use to do some basic analyze of your data. For example, you can choose hand tool, uh, restore, and can do some data comparison. You can add a data here. For example, add a data to compare. Yeah, you can choose the color of the X cells. So this is for some simple data comparison. And you can also change the fonts of the data. Let's find the display setting, and you find the very bottom. Double click, you can change the font. Yeah, for example, this one. Click OK, OK, and it will have changed. And also, you can export file from here. You can export the data, and you got some settings here. And also got multi-channel customer report. To do multi-channel customer report, you can do like this. For example, you want to export test reports of these two channels, and you can choose these two and right click, choose multi-channel customized reports, and you can choose what kind of data you need. You can uncheck some of the unnecessary items here, and when you got all this set, and it will show you what the report will be like. There will be in one same Excel file, and you can the left side is channel 1 and the right side is channel 2, and you can make them in vertical arrangement as well. Top channel 1, bottom channel 2. and you can get other types of report as well. Yeah, so if we want to export, put some name. Yeah, we can export, and we'll export to the, the desktop. Yeah, you can find it channel 5, and this is channel 6, and it can show uh, in this manner, in from cycle perspective, from steps perspective, from very detailed rect perspective, and graph as well. You can choose. So yeah, so this is how you do this data export and data checking. Thank you very much.